Hello, my dear email subscribers. Today we're going to talk about one of the most difficult parts of Russian grammar. Verbs of motion, of course. And yes, they're very difficult and they're terrible, but only until you know how to deal with them properly, how to learn them effectively. And in 3 videos, starting from today, I will show you 3 simple steps of how to nail down Russian verbs of motion. I remember 5 years ago when I just started teaching the Russian language in the university, all my colleagues were a little bit skeptical about it. They didn't trust me. And guess what? 5 years later, they all use these simple methods. So let's learn them. First, grammar. I know it's not what you expected, and I know it sounds boring, but you need to understand that the Russian language is very systematic. It's not like English. We don't have as many exceptions as the English language does. So with Russian, it's not that bad. All you need to do is to read and try to understand a grammar rule. And you hear, I don't say learn the rule by heart or spend hours and hours trying to dig deep in those rules. No. You just read one rule, and as soon as you understand it, go to practice. Find as many examples as you can and start using them. After that, step 2. And step 2 is to use your imagination and to use weird and strange associations. It's something that will help you to connect the new word, in this situation, the new verb, or maybe a verb with new prefix, with some information in your brain that was already there. Only in that case, you'll be able to remember the word deeply. I'll give you 2 simple examples that I use in my classes, and they work very well. So first, let's imagine that you start learning prefix pri. It means that somebody or something comes or arrives or approaches. Приходить, прибегать, прилетать, приплывать. So they were somewhere far away and they are now here next to you. And what do you say to someone who just arrived? You say привет. Привет. So you make that connection that приехать, привет, при and pri. I know it's absurd, but that's what you need in the very beginning. And next time when you find any verb with this prefix, and there are like dozens of those verbs, you'll know that it means that someone approached, and it will take like half a second to remember that. Of course, later, when you will know those verbs better, you will forget about it. You will dump this stupid association. But in the beginning, it works perfectly. And the second one, let's take the prefix u. It's the opposite meaning. Уходить, убегать, улетать. So it means to go away, to run away. So someone was here and now they're gone. And imagine that someone dear to you has left. And what do? You cry. Ooh. And in Russian, we usually show crying with oo sound. Something like the он ушел, or она ушла. And again, this stupid association will help you. And just like that, you remember dozens of verbs with u prefix. And like that, use your imagination, create weird connections in your head with different words. It's not necessarily verbs. Any new vocabulary you're dealing with, use your imagination. And step 3, here I want you to stay as foolish as you can be. And we're gonna create simple, silly stories. We call them mini stories. They should be really weird and really absurd. So you take several verbs that you want to remember deeply and you put them in some story. Choose any character. For example, let's take a cat, кот. But it's not an ordinary cat. Let's make him a pilot. Кот, пилот. So here we can use the verb to fly, летать. So, кот, пилот, летит. Pilot cat flies. And he flies to, Hogwarts school. Кот, пилот, летит в Хогвартс. Or maybe кот улетел из Хогвартса. And you see, it's so absurd that your brain will remember it much deeper than the same story about some ordinary pilot Ivan flying from New York to Moscow. Use strange situations, something that would never happen in real life. And trust me, it's scientifically proved that our brain remembers weird stuff much better than some normal stuff. And in the next video, we'll talk more about those mini stories, and I will give you several examples to practice. I'll give you mini stories with questions using some different verbs of motion, of course. So let's leave it to the next time. But now remember, make short, mini, simple and funny stories with the new verbs. And to summarize, again, 1. Read grammar rules and go to practice. 2. As soon as you meet the new verb, try to make a weird connection, weird association. And 3, start using ridiculous mini stories with those new verbs. And these 3 simple steps will allow you to start using those verbs actively without thinking about grammar. Trust me, next time we'll talk more about it, so don't forget to open the next email. And thank you very much for watching. Don't forget that you can always answer all my emails and I'll be happy to answer all your questions. And again, thank you very much for staying with me and for learning the Russian language with me. I hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.